We're now excited to present this year's Robert M. Holstein Faith Doing Justice Awards. This award honors lifelong leaders for social justice who are grounded in the spirituality of St. Ignatius of Loyola. The award's namesake, the late Robert M. Holstein, was a former California province Jesuit, labor lawyer, justice advocate, and founder of the Ignatian Family Teach-In for Justice, the precursor to the Ignatian Solidarity Network. So I would like to invite Jack Roslowski, the president of Xavier High School and former ISN board member, to the podium to present the first Robert M. Holstein Faith Doing Justice Award.
Thank you, Dave. Let me note that Brebeuf has never gotten this much attention at Xavier High School in 177 years. So God bless Indianapolis and Brebeuf. I will note that we are sending a Xavier board member to be their next president, but they felt we needed to come to the Midwest as opposed to they needed, Anyway. So my remarks tonight are a bit like Taylor Swift's new album. There are more songs than you might expect. And like Taylor Swift's new album, I'm not going to play them all at once. So you can get the full version by just writing. I'll give them to Robyn and Vince. I'm happy to share them. What is being cut out are really my remarks. And I am wise enough to say, well, go with the girls. Go with the girls. I couldn't be more honored to begin this presentation for Robyn and Vince. And I reached out to Krissy, Cara, and Gina to ask them their thoughts. And they were kind enough to respond. They would have been really bad if they didn't. Like, one of your daughters loves you, but the other two. And I was so moved, right? And I want to share some of their remarks with you because I think no one can capture Robyn and Vince better than they can. And Cara wrote, "To witness my parents' commitment to social justice is to witness the Holy Spirit at work, because their hearts were already primed for God to work through them. What started as chaperone duty at the Teach-In became an opportunity for transformation and grace. Long after I had graduated and moved on to the next thing," let me add, there's some very neat next things you moved on to, "Mom and Dad continued to attend the Teach-In. Not only that, they made sure a new generation of students had access to attend, learn, and grow in their faith. Last year, we had a true full-circle moment as their granddaughter Lucy attended the Teach-In for the first time. I could see how proud they were as she excitedly talked about all she had learned, especially the pivotal role of women in the ancient church. I can't think of a more fitting legacy for Mom and Dad, drawing people closer to God while working to create a more just and peaceful world." Gina wrote, "I learned from my parents about the call to say yes without counting the cost. Whenever Mom and Dad have been asked to give their time, talent, and treasure, they do so generously and as a matter of course, in ways large and small. And that ethic of selfless service is a legacy I work to pass on to my own children. Their work with ISN and other boards like Xavier and Mount St. Joseph Universities is a highly visible form of service. But most of the work Mom and Dad do is what Wordsworth called the best portion of a good person's life. Their little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love." And now, Krissy. As I was thinking back over my lifetime of knowing my parents, one theme kept coming up. The good qualities we have as human beings are paler reflections of God's goodness. And we can come to know God more deeply through the experience of human love and connection. God's steadfast love has many faces in our world: fidelity, patience, loyalty, presence. Vince and Robyn live in a way that honors and imitates this steadfast love. My parents have lived this love through what I think of as their ministry of showing up. They've always shown up for others, especially those who are left behind or most in need, even when it isn't convenient. When I was a child, this ministry looked like waiting until every kid had a ride home from an event before we would leave. And this was the 90s, when people didn't always remember to come and get their kids. If friends or family have faced a moment of need, my parents have shown up, in person or by phone, always in prayer. And their quiet ministry of showing up financially for causes they believe in has been a consistent in our lives. The gift of showing up is rare, beautiful in its simplicity. The ministry does not always place them in the spotlight, but it does make the spotlight grow brighter on the work of faith doing justice. There are many parts, but one body, many gifts, but one giver, many ways of being faithful and working for justice, many faces of steadfast love. The foundation of it all is showing up. And show up they have. On behalf of the Ignatian Solidarity Network, I'm honored to join Chris and Dave to present the Robyn M. Holstein Faith Doing Justice Award to Robyn and Vince Caponi.
That was something.
Oh my goodness. I knew tonight was going to be a very emotional night. And I want to say hello to Loretta. And it's been such a blessing to get to know you and to go to the tent when you and Bob were down there, and it was at Cara's invitation, and Father Paul O'Brien from Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory, and I want to thank all of the people from Brebeuf that are here tonight. Father Bill Verbright, the president, Greg Van Slembrook, the principal, Father Chris Johnson, the vice president, and Nick Klingler, who takes the kids every year to the Teach-In and has just gotten back from a Christmas trip to El Salvador, really making all that happen for all the students. So thanks to Cara for introducing us to this wonderful world. Thanks to all your friends that sang tonight. For so many years we have enjoyed this wonderful music, never dreaming that you were going to be here tonight. What a blessing. I know I'm going to forget, but here we go. Chris and Kim especially, remember when it was just you in the office, and now how the organization has grown, the wonderful staff that are all doing the work now, and how the work has grown. I want to thank my college roommate, Lynn Lewandowski. Casey is here. She left her fifth graders with a substitute for a couple of days back in Crystal Lake, Illinois, so she could be here with us. I know it's an important moment in my life because Lynn has been there for every important moment of my life since we met 56 years ago, even before I met Vince. And that was an important moment. So we've all been friends for a number of years. Thank you. Here's your turn.
So most of you probably have seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire. And if you remember, it was a series of unique coincidences in the main character's life that qualified him to win the jackpot of a lifetime. And the interesting part is, nobody believed him. So what I would tell you is, much like him, I've had a lot of very unique experiences in my life. And I don't think of them as coincidences. I think more in terms of divine providence. So God has put people in your life. I always felt I won the parents' jackpot when I was born into my family with 6 siblings and my parents. My parents demonstrated to us the need to give, and my mother would always say, the need to give is greater than to receive. And growing up in our household was like growing up in a circus. I had crazy brothers and sisters, and we did all the wonderful things. Eventually, my oldest brother got a football scholarship, and he went to this place called Cincinnati, and he went to Xavier University. And we're from a little town in Michigan. We had Dominican sisters. We didn't know what a Jesuit was. And we thought it had something to do with the Jews. I don't know, you know. But then we, began to create this wonderful relationship. And of course, I went to school to play basketball, and I ended up getting a Jesuit education instead. In the first month of school, another coincidence, or divine providence, at one of the first dances, I met Robyn, and we dated all through college, and now we've been married for 51 years. As Krissy said, I'm so glad she said yes. But the other thing that I experienced is that the real engine behind our family and a lot of the things that you're thanking for us tonight is really Robyn. I watched her as a stay-at-home mom raise our 3 daughters, and they were correct. We never, in fact, how many of you stay at a movie until the little Dolby sign comes up? Because you might miss something, and it's going to be there. But Robyn is a person of great curiosity. If you ever want to know anything about the stars, or if you ever travel with her, she'll check out everything beforehand. So she's very thorough. She gets into the minutia, and she really looks at it, where I kind of gloss over it, to be honest with you. It's going to be in there. So I am really, really blessed. The other part is, I had an opportunity. I started working in healthcare in 1975, and I worked in community hospitals for the first 9 years, and then I was lucky enough to go to work for the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet down in Augusta, Georgia, back in the 80s, and then I stayed in Catholic healthcare until I retired in 2019. And I met so many wonderful people, but always at the core of what we did was around social justice, to make sure that there was a voice for the voiceless, that we took care of the poor and the underserved. Because if we didn't do that, we weren't carrying out the core values that the sisters had instilled in us, whether it was the Sisters of St. Joseph Carondelet, or the Daughters of Charity, or Ascension Health. And in order for me to do the work that I could do, I could always count on Robyn, and she was a great model and a great person to be in there. So much like the main character of Slumdog Millionaire, I hit the jackpot. And I'm forever grateful, and it's worth more than anything else. And to be affiliated with ISN and Chris and his staff, and to do this work and to see 2,000 kids light up in Washington, D.C. every October, and to see guys like Don McMillan, who has been a great friend of ours. We have our friend Deanie Taylor here, who worked in healthcare with me for many years, to come and be with us tonight. Robyn and I are truly humbled, and we're truly thankful. So thank you all.